Great. Good morning, and we will begin this lesson with you lying on your mat. You can't see this, but Mona's dog is lying on her mat, almost on his back or her back. It's pretty funny. Yeah, all right. I know it is funny. So please lie on your back. And see if everybody gets to remove your glasses. Put them somewhere safe. Notice your contact with the floor this morning. Where you're in contact, the places that rest fully on the floor, and where you do not. Where are the places that are lifted away from the floor a little bit? And notice how this differs from your right side to your left side. Begin to imagine yourself as a stick figure, the simplest representation of the human form. Think of the line of your right leg from your heel to your hip. The line of your left leg from your heel to your hip. The line of your spine up from your tailbone to that circle that represents your head. The line of your left arm from your fingers to your shoulder to your spine. And your other arm, your left arm, from your fingers to your shoulder to your spine. And in your mind's eye, telescope out as if you could look down at yourself from the ceiling and see the shape that you make lying on the floor this morning. And when you're ready to begin, please bend your knees, stand your feet about hip width, shoulder width apart. Begin to slowly, with very little effort, slowly roll your pelvis up toward your face, feeling how your lower back comes closer to the floor. And then back to the middle, letting go and continuing to roll your pelvis downward, bringing your tailbone a little closer to the floor and softening in your belly. And you rock your pelvis forward and back a few times, allowing this movement to be as simple and as gentle and as easy as you can. And then bringing your lower belly forward toward the ceiling and downward toward your pelvic floor as your lower back lifts from the ground. And you might try exhaling and bringing your lower belly in as you roll your pelvis up, lowering your lumbar vertebra toward the floor, one vertebra at a time. And then when you're ready, you rest. You can rest with your knees bent, or you can rest with your legs long. Notice how your pelvis rests through the right side and the left side. The line of your spine all the way up to the circle of your head. Notice your breath in your lower abdomen. And then please bend your knees, stand your feet. Begin to lift, begin to roll your pelvis and then lift your spine like a chain. Lifting one vertebra of your lumbar spine after the other. And then lowering it just a few times. So you might feel yourself pressing through your feet a little bit. Might notice that your lower legs could be perpendicular to the floor. Some of you might want to bring your heels in a little bit towards your pelvis and see if it isn't easier to differentiate the spine one link at a time, lifting from the floor and lowering. Find that place where you're truly comfortable. Letting go of any holding in your shoulders or your belly. Really feeling the pressure as you ground your feet coming through your legs all the way up through your spine. And then the next time you lift your pelvis, could you leave it in the air at a comfortable height and lift your toes from the ground and rock yourself. Rock yourself by pressing through your heels. You might, yeah. So it's a movement of your whole self. I see everyone is, so it's a oscillation, a movement up and down. Yeah. So it's not a side to side movement, it's a vertical movement. So you press through your heels upward. That's it. That's it. So you don't lift and lower your pelvis. You leave your pelvis as it is. You press through your heels. So everyone lower your pelvis down and rest. You can rest with your knees bent. So Judith Dirks, leave your pelvis up. Press through your heels upward in a way that makes your whole skeleton move up and then down. You don't lift and lower your pelvis. You leave it exactly as it is. And you use the pressure to move upward through your spine, all the way to your head and then down. So that's it. That's it. Don't lift and lower your pelvis. You're oscillating up and down. Don't lift and lower your pelvis. Leave your pelvis in one spot relative to the floor, in one spot relative to the ceiling, so that the whole force moves up and down through your skeleton. That's a little better. All right, everyone rest. Yeah, rest, rest. Good. Lower your legs, and we're gonna do this a different way. So no, not to worry. Maybe you remember that Pamela had a question last time and said, oh, that next variation clarified it. So let's try to clarify this movement with this next variation. You breathe into your lower abdomen. Let go of any tension in your jaw or your shoulders, your thighs, your ankles, your hands, around your eyes. And then bend your knees just about 15 degrees, not very much. And then bring your 4 feet up so your toes come toward your shins. And now press from in this configuration and see if it isn't easier for you. That's it. That's the feeling. So now use less effort and find a rhythm that suits you, that you feel helps you to feel, yeah. Some of you will speed up, some of you will go slower. Mary G, your pelvis is on the ground. You don't lift your pelvis off the ground. You leave your pelvis on the ground and extend your heels a little longer. There you go. Now lift your toes and see what it's like to push from that position. That's it. Everyone pause, lower your legs and rest. Beautiful. Much easier the second time around. Huh? And now with your legs long, simply flex and point your toes. And just see what happens. Don't try to do anything. And feel if there's any shadow of that oscillation that goes through your body. And some of you have already done it, so you can flex and point your feet at whatever rhythm you like. And just let go of effort. No matter what rhythm you have chosen, use as little effort as possible. Beautiful. Good. Great. And then you can leave it and take a rest. You can rest and feel the result throughout your system. There's probably a different sense of yourself now. Perhaps you have a more skeletal sense of yourself, and perhaps you can once again look at those lines, the lines of your legs, the lines of your arms, the line of your spine, the circle of your head. When you're ready to go on, please bend your knees and put your feet flat, about shoulder width apart. Now this time, I'd like you to slowly ground your feet and lift your pelvis, and then one vertebra at a time, but then bring the pressure toward your right shoulder blade. And then you slowly lower, as you've done, one vertebra, one link of the chain at a time. And you can put your hands on your pelvis, on either side of your pelvis. And as you lift, rolling and lifting one vertebra at a time, bringing the pressure onto your right shoulder blade, feel what you're doing with your pelvis in order to create the pressure in your right shoulder and shoulder blade. Taking your time, using less and less effort, perhaps going slower and slower. And the next time you lift your pelvis, could you stay with your pelvis lifted and breathe into the upper part of the right side of your chest, expanding your chest right into the area where the pressure has been applied. Feeling that right upper part of your chest, expanding from the inside as you press into the ground from the outside. And then go ahead when you're ready, you slowly, with great ease, respect, lowering your vertebra, lowering your spine, lowering your hands, lowering your legs. Take a rest. Rest and feel the difference in your upper back between the right side of your upper back and the left. Can you notice as you breathe into that right side, there's an ability to take a deep breath, expand the entire right side of your chest. And perhaps when you exhale, you can allow your ribs to soften on the right. And with your next inhale, feel what happens through the left side of your chest. Without concern for fixing anything, just explore the difference there. And then when you've finished with that, could you bend your legs and put your feet flat in a good position for yourself? Once again, lift your pelvis and bring the weight of your pelvis toward your right shoulder. Your right shoulder blade, bringing your attention to the back of your head. And then you lower. And each time you lift your pelvis, you apply the pressure to your right shoulder blade. Feel what happens in the back of your head and feel that your chin moves and your left ear comes a little closer to your left shoulder. So take your time. Do less. Make it simpler, smaller, easier. Notice the back of your head and notice what happens if you bring your left ear a little closer to your left shoulder. And then lift your pelvis up and stay with your pelvis lifted. And as we did before, leave your nose to the ceiling and make a very small movement of bringing your left ear to your left shoulder. Notice how your left ear comes to your left shoulder and your chin moves to the right. So you're side bending your head rather than rotating your head. Make sure that you have that orientation of your nose and your eyes toward the ceiling. As you gently move a little back and forth, you can put your hands on your pelvis. Either side. Now feel what your pelvis does when you slide your ear to your left shoulder. Does your pelvis slide to the right or to the left? Your nose is to your ceiling and lowering your pelvis when you need to. Bring your head to the middle. Just before you rest, lift and lower your pelvis, bringing your weight onto your right shoulder and see if there's something easier about that now. And then when you're ready, take a rest. Observe the movement in your lower abdomen as you inhale and as you exhale. Please bend your knees, stand your feet. Put your hands on either side of your pelvis. Begin to lift your pelvis slowly off the floor and translate your pelvis to the right and back to neutral, which means leaving your pelvis parallel to the floor and parallel to the ceiling. You shift your whole pelvis a little to the right and back to the middle. So you don't turn your pelvis, you just move your pelvis a little to the right and back to the middle. It's as if my hands are underneath your pelvis and your pelvis is a tray, and I just move the tray a little bit to the right and back to the middle. And notice which side of your chest becomes longer when you slide your pelvis to the right. Feel free to rest whenever you need. And then pause in the middle, bring your left ear toward your left shoulder and feel what happens in your pelvis. Feel if your pelvis slides to the right or the left, or if it stays fixed in the middle when you bring your left ear to your left shoulder. And then slide your pelvis to the right and bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Be sure you're not turning your head, Mary. You bring your ear to your shoulder, your nose stays toward the ceiling, you side bend. That's it. Don't go farther than you can go without turning your head. It can be a very tiny movement. So the top of your head goes to the left, your chin goes to the right, and you don't rotate. But as you turn your head, that's right, you're shifting your pelvis a little bit to the right, and then everything comes back to the middle. Your spine moves sequentially like a chain of pearls. And then when you're ready, come to the middle, lower your pelvis, lower your arms, lower your legs, take a rest. Just take a moment here and feel the way that the back of your head contacts the floor. And the feeling in your right shoulder and shoulder blade, your left shoulder and shoulder blade. The right side of your pelvis and the left. Inhale slowly into your lower abdomen. When you're ready to go on, let me know. Please bend your knees and put your feet flat. Take your time. Good. Slowly lift your pelvis and bring your weight onto your left shoulder. and then lower. You'll feel one foot presses a little more into the floor than the other. Sure you leave your knees. Everyone's doing really well leaving your knees in the middle. Feel the tiny movement of your head bending to the right as you press through a little bit more through your right foot, moving the weight towards your left shoulder. You can take a moment to breathe into that upper left quadrant, that upper left corner of your chest, feeling the expansion there. You may feel that as you expand and breathe into that corner, there's a little bit more movement of your right ear towards your right shoulder. As you lift your pelvis, as you bring the weight onto your left shoulder and left shoulder blade, can you feel one side of your neck getting shorter relative to the other? Be sure you're not rotating. Be sure that your face is staying oriented toward the ceiling. It may be a very small movement in one direction compared to the other, but your chin is moving to the left and your head is moving to the right. And one side of your neck is getting longer and the other is getting shorter. As you lift your pelvis, bringing the weight to your left shoulder and then down. And the next time you bring your pelvis into the air, slide your right ear towards your right shoulder with your hands on the sides of your pelvis, feeling that connection of your head and neck to the movement of your pelvis. As you lift your pelvis, bringing the weight onto your left shoulder blade, you feel your left ear go toward your left shoulder. Your pelvis moves to the left. Let go of any effort in your stomach, any extra effort in your hips. Go slowly, allowing one side of your chest to get longer and one side of your chest to get shorter. And when you're ready, you might leave it and take a rest. Lower your legs, lower your pelvis, your arms. Feel the weight of your head and let go of any tension in your jaw, your cheeks, your throat, around your eyes. Let go of any holding in the front of your chest, around your breastbone. You might feel your diaphragm moving down as you inhale, allowing your lowest ribs to rest on the floor, right side and left side. You might feel movement in your lower belly. And if you bring a little more attention, softly allowing your lower belly to expand as you inhale, you can imagine the sides of your sacrum softening and opening the sides of your wings of your pelvis widening as your belly comes forward and down. So when you're ready to go on, please bend your knees and stand your feet. Slowly, slowly take your time to raise your pelvis one vertebra at a time and leave it up there. Bring your ear toward your shoulder to the right, to the middle, and to the left. And you might feel some difficulty around your lower vertebra in your neck and the very highest vertebra in your upper thoracic spine that has been there for a very long time. Make sure that your nose is pointing toward the ceiling. Noticing the difference from one side of your neck to the other. Perhaps your neck can bend on one side, but on the other side, you might feel you need to turn your head in order to go further. Just take a moment, pay attention to these things without trying to fix them, going very slowly, and then take a rest. You can rest with your legs bent, your feet standing. And please slowly lift your pelvis and then your spine, one vertebra at a time. Feel the line of your right leg from your foot to your right hip joint. And you lower slowly. And the next time you lift your pelvis, you feel the line of your left foot from your left foot to your left hip joint. And then very slowly begin to move your right ear toward your right shoulder. And then your left ear toward your left shoulder. So you're alternating and you're keeping your head toward this beautiful, beautiful. That's right. Toward the ceiling, your nose. Bringing one ear toward the shoulder on the same side and back to the middle. And then the other ear toward that shoulder. Feel what's happening in your chest. How you bend in your chest as your ear moves down toward your shoulder. The shape that you're making with your chest. So as your ear moves down toward your shoulder, that vertebra somewhere in the middle of your chest moves in the other direction, creating a shape of a C. Good. And then when you're ready, you can rest. You can lengthen your legs and take a rest. Settle yourself. Mm. Mm. Maybe notice the feeling in your shoulders and shoulder blades, your upper back, your neck, and the back of your head. And then When you're ready to go on, please let me know by bending your knees and putting your feet flat. This time, as you slide your head toward your left shoulder, lengthen your left arm downward toward your left foot. Good, and then you come back to the middle slowly. And then you bring your right ear toward your right shoulder. You lengthen your right hand toward your right ankle. So your arms pull you down a little bit, helping you bend your spine just a little bit more. Just a few times, just easy, just simple, using less and less effort, sliding and gliding, only what's comfortable. And then coming back to the middle, please interlace your fingers, bring your arms above your head with your palms facing the top of your head, your elbows are bent. So your arms are as close to the floor as is comfortable for you. Your elbows are open above your head. They can even be on your head. They're not behind your head though. They're laying above. That's it, elbows out. And just begin to slide your head, your arms, your elbows to the right and then back to the middle. So very slowly, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your elbows, relaxing your hands. You bring your right ear to your right shoulder and you slide your both elbows to the right, and then you slide the whole thing back. So it's still side bending. We're not turning. There's no rotating. It's that side bending, but you're connecting the side bending of your neck with the side bending of your chest. You'll feel your ribs on the right coming closer together. And then coming back. The ribs on the left will spread. Use less effort. Soften in your shoulder blades. Allow your ribs, those very upper ribs, to move as you simply bring your right ear to your right shoulder and back. And then when you come back the next time, you might want to rest. You can leave your knees bent, but you might want to gently, slowly bring your arms down. You can bring them across your body, over your body. Beautiful. Just rest with your legs bent or your legs long. Feel any difference that you can feel in the way your chest is resting or the breath within your chest. So your hands are down by your sides right now and you're resting. And this time, can you interlace your fingers in a non-habitual way? So bring them in front of you and you'll notice one thumb is toward you, and just shift your thumbs and all your fingers. And then you're going to bring your hands above your head. Good. Your palms are facing the top of your head. Your knees are bent. Your feet are standing. Just relaxing in your back of your neck, your head, your shoulders. You're going to begin to bring your left ear towards your left shoulder and allow the hands to follow the top of your head and then come back. So your hands will slide, your elbows will slide on the floor, making the same arc that your ear and your shoulder are making. Your knees stay toward the ceiling. They're quiet. You're not turning your head. You're not tilting your legs. Very slowly, letting go. Make it simpler. Use less effort. Feel how your left hip comes toward your left elbow without you doing anything at all. Go slowly. Be lazy. Let go of tension in your belly, your neck, your jaw, your eyes. Just simple. And then come back to the middle. Bring your arms down in some way that's comfortable for you. Rest again. Stretching out your legs. Notice any difference in the way that you feel resting on the floor, the back of your head, your upper back, your lower ribs, your pelvis. When you're ready to go on, let me know by bending your knees and standing your feet. Please interlace your fingers any way that you like. Bring your hands over your head. Palms are toward your top of your head. Your elbows are out to the side. Please lift your pelvis very slowly, gently, only as high as is comfortable. And sliding your hands and your arms to the right, bringing your ear to the right. Feel how your pelvis moves to the left. And then coming back to the middle when you slide your head and your arms to the left, feel how your pelvis moves to the right. Allow your pelvis to move in the opposite direction of the movement of your cervical spine. If it's too much for you, you can always lower your pelvis and do the same movement. Just a few times, just what's easy and comfortable. And when you have explored that to your own satisfaction, come to the middle, lower your pelvis. Let me know that you've done enough by lowering your arms, your legs, and taking a rest. Just take a moment to feel yourself, the quality of your rest, your attention, the feeling that you have for yourself right now. Maybe you like to follow your breath in your belly. In your chest. Just rest. When you're ready to go on, please. Some of you are just resting now. All right, we'll give you a minute here. Please bend your knees and stand your feet. Very slowly. Grounding your feet, lifting your pelvis. I'd like you to bring your right arm behind your back. So yes, slide, no, not above your head, like you're lifted. So yeah, underneath yourself, pointing your right fingers to the left. So you're behind your back. Your pelvis is lifted and you're going to slide that hand, that right hand, to the left side of your torso. So the fingertips are coming to the left and you'll side bend just the same as we've been doing. You take your right ear to your right shoulder and you slide your hand so that your fingertips move to the left. And then you bring it back to the middle 3 or 4 times slowly. This very same movement we've been doing. Sliding your right arm through along the floor to bring your fingertips along the floor to the left. Good. And when you're ready, you can just rest, bringing your hand out, lowering your pelvis, maybe leave your knees bent, but notice your contact along your spine with the floor. Taking a moment to breathe. And then again, you'll ground your feet slowly, gently, easily lifting your pelvis, one vertebra at a time. This time, bring your left arm underneath you. And as you bring your left ear to your left shoulder, slide your arm along the floor, bringing your left fingertips to the right side of your chest. Go slowly, softening, feeling the side bending that is connected to the bending of your neck as you bring your left ear towards your left shoulder. Feel where you can let go. As you move, feel where you can let go. As you move, feel where you can do less. And observe the feeling as you come back to the middle. Rest when you need. You can lower your legs. Just rest. Observe the feeling in yourself. When you're ready to go on, let me know. Stand your legs, put your feet flat, please. Bring both of your arms behind your back, one on top of the other. So slowly press through your feet, lift your legs, lift your pelvis. That's it. Put both of your arms underneath you and begin to slide both of your arms first to the right, and then back to the middle, and then to the left. So taking your time, slowly, gently, feeling yourself bending, shortening on one side, lengthening on the other. And when you're ready, you can change, bringing the other arm on the top, continuing to, that's beautiful. Yeah, I did the same thing. You can pull one arm with the other. You can grasp at the wrist. You can grasp in your hands. helping yourself to side bend, remembering your ear moving from one side to the other. And then bringing that to a rest, coming to the middle, lowering your spine, lowering your pelvis, lowering your arms, your legs, and really rest. Observe your contact with the floor. Contact your spine makes with the floor, in your lower back. The way your shoulders are resting, your shoulder blades are resting now. And telescope out once more and look at the lines of yourself now. The line of your spine from your tailbone to your head. The circle of your head. Your right heel to your right hip. Your left heel to your left hip. Your right fingers to your shoulder, to your spine. Your left fingers to your shoulder, to your spine. The whole stick figure of yourself. And then flex and extend your ankles as you did earlier, feeling perhaps that movement through your skeleton is easier now, or you can feel it more completely. Yeah. Can you feel how your head is able to move more fully now? Yeah. And then pause. Bend your knees a little bit, as much as you like, and then you're going to lift your feet and press through your heels, oscillating up to the top of your head. Feel how that moves through you now. Yeah, feel the movement in your neck, your head, your chin, let go, and your jaw. And then once again, lower your legs and rest fully. Observe your contact with the floor. Observe the movement in your lower abdomen as you breathe in and you breathe out. Good. Please bend your knees and roll to your side. Come to sit and then come to stand. And for those of you who are standing, notice if you feel a little taller. Does your chest feel a little higher? Is your sternum lifted without effort? Notice the feeling in the back of your head. And then walk around. And just notice your feeling as you walk, sensing and feeling for yourself what is different. Is that area of your lower neck and upper back somehow different? Is the back of your head back a little more? So thank you.